Hello, everybody, and welcome to an amazing episode of the Gridiron Glory. We didn't even mean to do it, but we kind of got this, neon green theme going on here. Pretty cool. We're bringing you all things the divisional round. So you got the Buffalo Bills in a divisional game that took place between them and the Baltimore Ravens. And yeah, Tad, honestly, obviously, I want to talk about the main storyline going into this football game. We knew these two teams were super high and heavy of marquee, with our preseason research and everything. You know, we when we were doing our preseason research, when we were studying all 32 teams, Tad, I like how you're wearing the number 32 because this is the Gridiron Glory covering all 32 teams. Yes, sir. Um, we were talking Bills, Ravens. And what did we say for both of these teams when we were studying their team, their schedule, their coaches? What did we say? We said both of these teams could win the AFC if they can beat the Chiefs. Point blank. And the Buffalo Bills are going to have to prove that in the AFC Championship coming up next Sunday on, CBS, 5:30 Eastern time. Go Bills. Bills, Ravens. Lamar Jackson had to drive the length of the football field, down by 8 points, 27-19 on that final drive. And just talking about the emotional storyline that you got to go the length of the field in the snow, in the playoffs. Tat, you called this, if you will, a playoff legacy drive for Lamar Jackson. He goes down the length of the football field. I was mesmerized. I was moved by what you were able to do, and then eventually get that touchdown late. And then, of course, you go for the 2-point conversion on the outside route. You got the tight end, Mark Andrews there, and Tad, what happened?
They threw the pass to him and he didn't catch the ball. That's basically what the game comes down to. And who knows what happens if he does? The Bills would have had a little bit of time to go win the game with a field goal, or if not, it goes to overtime, and then it's the fate of a coin toss, basically. But anyways, he needs to just. It was a play that he could have caught the ball and he didn't catch the ball, and it's an unfortunate moment for Mark Andrews. He's a very good tight end that's been a staple in the Ravens offense for many years now and looks to continue to be, but a very unfortunate moment there. I thought personally the play call I'd go to is you give the ball to Derrick Henry and you let him cook.
Yes.
But John Harbaugh saw it differently than me. I thought that on both of the 2-point conversions that they unsuccessfully went for, I would have much preferred to see Derrick Henry running the football because he was absolutely cooking at that point in the game. And it's fair to criticize and second guess what these coaches do. They know their teams, they know the plays. And it wasn't a bad play. You put Lamar Jackson in a chance to go tie the game, and it was a fine setup play. And your tight end just doesn't catch the ball. That's obviously not John Harbaugh's fault that he didn't catch the ball, but that's just where we are in the game.
Mark Andrews probably hasn't slept well at all this week.
Definitely.
And Tad, Mark Andrews also did release a statement, and I'd like to touch on that statement really quick.
Sure.
Because it is such a he was receiving Tad, you heard things of death threats.
Yeah,
from fan and what is your take on that, really quick? That's abysmal for any fan to wish that.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate aspect.
And you hate to see it.
High level professional athletics, even college athletics, whatever. At this level, you're gonna get the fringe fans that do ridiculous things that threaten the players, that threaten their families and all that. It's obviously uncalled for, but that's sadly the world we live in these days where people feel emboldened to send the stuff that they're gonna send. Obviously, don't do it. It's not good to do. And actions should have consequences.
Actions should have consequences. Tad, he spoke to the press saying, quote, I pour every ounce of my being into playing at the highest level possible because I love my team in the game of football like nothing else. That is why it's taken me until now to collect my thoughts and address this publicly, even though the shock and disappointment are unlike anything I've felt before. I refuse to let this situation define me. I promise that this adversity will only make me stronger and fuel us as we move forward. I thank everyone who has shown me and our team genuine support these past several days. Despite the negativity, I've seen heartfelt love and encouragement, including from those who have generously donated to the Breakthrough T1D organization. Even when the moment seems darkest, perspective can reveal that there's still a lot of light in this world. He says, I'm now going to do my part to bounce back and contribute to it. Hashtag God bless.
Yeah,
A
great to see
very
the people
heartfelt statement
stepping
there
up.
from tight end Mark Andrews. And Mark,
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate that that happened,
sure.
obviously, because you dream of moments like that as an NFL player. Tag, you put the pads on, you train all season long, you fight and fight and fight for a moment like that, and I promise you, that's every single second of his life, at least these days. He's wishing he could have that one back. So
Yeah,
you just
obviously, I mean,
gotta
it's
move forward from
definitely
it the
not a
best way you
moment he
can.
wants to remember.
You just got to move forward. I mean, do you still think the Ravens keep him around? Is he still a serviceable enough tight end? Like how does this
I mean,
affect his
yeah,
tight end legacy?
like I said, I mean, obviously, well, you have a chance to make a legacy by making a play like that, and it didn't work out. But obviously, I mean, he'll be remembered as a phenomenal Ravens tight end. And I mean, he's done a lot more good than bad with that team, obviously. But yeah, I mean, he's had a 4-year contract, and this will be his last year of the contract this upcoming season. So, what happens after that? There could be some questions. I mean, obviously, you also have Isaiah Likely, who's a phenomenal up and coming tight end. He was the leading receiver in this game with 4 catches for 73 yards and that touchdown. So, a lot of questions about the future for Mark Andrews, but it looks like he's got at least one more year with the Ravens, and I mean, I'm sure he'll do what he can to make it a great one.
Yeah, Tad. And you mentioned the disinvolvement of Derrick Henry in this football game. Touching on the Ravens really quick. Bills
Sure.
Ravens here. All things Bills Ravens. Yeah, Derrick Henry, 16 carries, only 84 yards. He did have that touchdown, which was good. But Tad, Derrick Henry was also a man that ran for 186 yards in the previous playoff game. So, like, what happened there, Jim Harbaugh? And then Isaiah Likely, yeah, the 4 catches, 73 yards. Rashad Bateman also did have that big touchdown. Tad,
Hmm.
what was your take on the Rashad Bateman moment?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great play, and I mean, it's just, I think that just speaks to Lamar Jackson, just him being able to make it work. I mean, without his best receiver in Zay Flowers, who was unfortunately unable to go once again. But yeah, that was a great drive to kick off the game. I mean, Baltimore, they showed that they're here to play, and then I mean, Buffalo, they did the same. But I mean, it was a good moment. And now, like you said, I mean, the Derrick Henry situation. I mean, you got to get him more involved. I mean, I get they were facing a negative game script. I mean, a negative, they were behind for like the entire game after like the first quarter, but they could have definitely continued to get back in the game with Derrick Henry. And I mean, they did what they could to get back in the game. Their defense was great in the second half, but like I said, I just think it came down to when you were dominating, running the ball, you get the touchdowns and then you go away from the run game when you go for the two. I mean, I think if you just give the ball to Derrick Henry, he finds a way to get in. I have a hard time to believe they don't get either of their 2-point conversions if you just give the ball to Derrick Henry.
It's sad. You hate to see it, really, when you break it down like that. Huh? So Jim Harbaugh, I mean, how many more teams are going to use the same mistake of not using their top tier running backs in those situations? I feel like today's NFL is just so pass heavy, Tad, that like you forget that you have running backs, you know?
Mhm. And I mean that's why they got Derrick Henry in the offseason. So they had someone to use in a moment like this. And then I mean he did what he could. He had a respectable game, but you could have done more.
To
I
me,
felt
it's
like
like
you
in
could
that
have done more.
moment, Derrick Henry would not have cared if he had 5 dudes, 6 dudes, 7 dudes
Yeah.
trying to bring him down. He would have found a way to score. I mean, he's Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry. Like that's what you signed him for.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. I mean, what are you doing? Um, Talking about the Ravens defense really quick. Yeah, Kyle Hamilton, the veteran safety out of the school that lost in the national championship, Notre Dame. Yeah. 6 solo tackles there. Roquan Smith with 3. Maybe you might have liked to have seen maybe some more tackles out of Roquan Smith, perhaps, but did what he could against a tough Bills offense. Um, you had the half sack there by Van Noy and Badu, that number 92, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Kyle got annoyed. He had some big plays in the second half where he basically single-handedly ended some drives.
Very,
Matabuki
very,
had
very
some
much also
solid
worth
plays.
noting. Justin Tucker did kick 2 much-needed field goals for the Ravens.
Yeah, I
Justin
mean
Tucker
the
also played a
Ravens
part.
they put themselves in position. I mean, it wasn't a bad effort for the Ravens. It's just it
And,
didn't get
and
out.
and with this being said, Tad, Justin Tucker 2 of 2, 100% on his field goal percentage. He even kicked a 47-yarder. Yes, extra points, 1 of 1. Scored 7 points for this football team. And with that being said, Tad, yes, I would like to humbly, genuinely, and sincerely ask you, sir, where would you rank Justin Tucker amongst kickers all time in the NFL history?
I mean, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, obviously a down year overall this year, but throughout his career, I mean, just the numbers speak for themselves. Prime Justin Tucker, there's nobody better. I mean, one of the greatest kickers to ever do it, and he's single-handedly won the Ravens games before. I mean, he's that guy.
Very much. You love to hear that from. I mean, just a tough way to go out for this Ravens squad. Tad, the Bills, like you said, Josh Allen, 16 to 22, 127 yards. He did get sacked only 1 time. James Cook, 17 carries, 67 yards. I mean, yeah, you maybe wanted to see. I mean, Derrick Henry had more yards than Cook. Maybe you wanted to see some more yards out of Cook there. Um, yeah, Ray Davis did get that touchdown. Josh Allen himself ran for 2 touchdowns. Tad, what's your takes so far on Josh Allen evolving himself and developing himself into more of a dual threat quarterback these days later in his career?
Yeah, he's been a quarterback that he can run, he can pass. He didn't have to do a whole lot in this game. The Bills they take advantage of the good field position they get. Um, and they execute well enough. I mean, Josh Allen, I mean, when he's running at full force, you're not going to stop him. He has the 2 rushing touchdowns. And I mean, when they get down in that area, you give Josh Allen the ball. He's going to get the ball in the end zone. There's not a lot you're going to do to stop him.
I mean, again, the one thing and the one thing only standing in the way of this Bills' greatness coming up for them on Sunday. Yeah, Khalil Shakir, 6 catches, 67 yards. James Cook. James Cook can get involved in the receiving game. You like to see that. Um, let's see here. Yeah, looking at this Bills defense, Tad. Damar, yes. I would really like to speak on Tad beautifully, so beautifully. Damar Hamlin. In this playoff game in the second round, all things the divisional round. Yeah, Damar Hamlin. It's almost making me tear up just reading this because Yeah, Tad, DeMar Hamlin, 8 total tackles, 5 solo, a sack, 2 tackles for a loss, and a hit on the quarterback. Tad, where would you rate DeMar Hamlin among safeties all time?
Um, I mean, all time. I mean, he's made a name for himself. I mean, obviously, he's made a name for himself in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this. His storyline and everything is just truly beautiful, and him to go out there and perform like this in this playoff game. I mean, Tad, you'd love to see it. Tad, you'd love to see it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for DeMar Hamlin in this football game, sir.
Yeah,
Truly.
definitely very happy for DeMar Hamlin, and I mean, just a very good performance by the Bills defense. I mean, you get the fumble recovery by Terrell Bernard when you get that tackle on Mark Andrews. That's a big play there. You get the fumble recovery by um Hamlin also recovered a fumble as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes, he did. Yes. I mean,
credit
a
to
beautiful
him
game from
as
DeMar Hamlin.
well. Taylor Rapp with a big interception on Lamar Jackson. I mean, yeah, Lamar, he turned the ball over twice, something he rarely ever does. So unfortunate moment in the playoffs there for him, but the Bills defense, they definitely came to play for sure. Yeah, just very impressed by the secondary. They held the Ravens offense in check. Just incredible showing.
I also
Incredible
like
effort
to
there.
really quickly speak on, AJ Epinesa out of Iowa. Yeah, 6 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 tackles for a loss. Tad, what was your take on AJ Epinesa in this playoff game?
AJ Epinesa had a
He definitely
very
made some big plays.
solid game. He had some standout plays. I mean, the Bills defense, they played well. I mean, they the Ravens didn't run the ball, and part of that was because of the Bills defense. I mean, they did what they could to stop the run, but it was just an interesting game. Obviously, a very closely contested game between two of the best teams in the NFL. I feel like either of these teams could have won the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Ravens now they've lost, so they won't. The Bills still can. We'll see how things go.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, it's just going to be really interesting to see what happens there, Tad.
Yeah. Obviously, like for the Bills, they've um had their chances against the Kansas City Chiefs. It hasn't come up well for them in the past. So now it's up to um this football team, Josh Allen, the leaders on this team, the defense, to change the narrative. I mean, here's your chance to go slay the dragon, beat the team that you've never been able to beat when it matters the most. I mean, and now here we are. It matters the most. Yep,
I,
it's that
I love
team
that. I like
again.
you say that, slay the dragon. I love that.
I mean, you gotta yep, it's that team again. You're gonna
You
see them
created a
again.
bit.
If you want to advance to the Super Bowl, you got to go into that building and beat that team. I mean, it's the only way you're going to the Super Bowl.
And Tad, let's not forget the moment where obviously the playoff game. Let's not forget the historic playoff game between those two franchises, the Bills and the Chiefs, where the Bills had the lead,
Hmm.
and then yeah, that team with 13 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, yeah, the Chiefs. I mean, they drive down the field. You get that perfect pass to Travis Kelsey. You get the ball stopped. You get the field goal to tie the game, and then the one of the biggest travesties in NFL history with the coin toss. I mean, you win the game with they only touch the ball once. The Bills don't touch the ball in overtime, which I still think is the biggest travesty in NFL history. Um, they have thankfully fixed the rules in overtime in the playoffs now, but yeah, just expect another all-time classic between these two powerhouse teams in the AFC.
Yep. Um, I'm sure by looking at my background, I'm sure you can really guess and know who I want to win this AFC Championship game, Tad. I mean,
Yeah,
no,
obviously you're hoping for the Kansas City Chiefs to win.
no, I'm not. We do not need a three-peat of that.
But
Respect.
really quickly, wrapping up some things for the Ravens. What do you think they can do to improve this football team for next season?
Yeah, Tad. What this Ravens team can do to improve this football team for next season is, um, well, you're going to lose some free agents. I know that they definitely got some
Yeah.
things. Yeah, I heard some comments and remarks that this team isn't going to be put together the way it is right now. There's going to be some free agencies and stuff like that. I'm not sure the full storylines on those, and or any coaching changes at the moment, unless you've heard anything.
Yeah, I know that there's always talks going around about coordinators interviewing in other spots, and I think that's the case with the Ravens. It'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. I think you want to fortify your offensive line a bit more. That could be one thing. Get Keaton Mitchell more involved. He's right now he's your third string running back, but he's continuing to get healthy. Keep getting him healthy, get him more involved. And yeah, you could always look at your linebacker group. I mean, Roquan Smith is great. Can you upgrade beside him? I think those are a few things they could look at.
You also got the 27th pick in the draft,
Yes,
so something to think about there.
for sure. Some big questions for the Ravens. And for the Bills, what do you do? How do you beat the Chiefs? What's your number one key for the Bills?
Sorry, really quick. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there, but I just
Sorry.
want to the Ravens overall. Lamar Jackson did finish with over 4,000 passing yards. Derrick Henry 1,920 yards. Zay Flowers, their leading receiver, 1,059 yards. He had 4 touchdowns with 74 catches. This team was seventh overall in passing yards, averaging for 237.4. Led the league in rushing yards at 187.6. Points for were 30.5. So a highly prolific team with a highly prolific offense, a team that won a lot of football games. I
I
mean,
mean, arguably the greatest rushing team of all time.
this is not a team that like they just need to, get at it in the offseason and find a way to get back here again and be prepared for a bigger moment like that.
Yeah.
So, and then for the Bills, like you said, can you go in there? Can you defeat the Almighty being or whatever you? We haven't officially recorded that Houston versus Kansas City game, folks. Catch my takes on that, and you'll understand my thought process here. But go, let's see if the Bills, the Buffalo Bills, can go up there to Kansas City and do what they need to do to get to the damn Super Bowl already. So that's my thought. Yeah, Tad. That's all I really have. I don't really have any other final thoughts or takes on Bills Ravens. Next week, we got special exclusive conference championship coverage. NFC championship, Eagles Commanders, AFC championship. Bills versus
The Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right. So be sure to catch us next week on the Gridiron Glory. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. And thank you for watching.